Go do that sugar water spell and get that money on. If you seen this, go do that sugar water spell. What I do, I always test out spells whenever I'm like trying to figure out like what works for me or not. That's what really spirituality and hoodoo is. It's like testing out what works for you. Because one thing might work for another person, one thing might not work for you. So anyways, I've been seeing this like sugar water shit like pop up on my For You page and things of that nature. And I heard about the honey jar spell. The honey jar spell kind of worked for me, but it takes a long time. So they say if you want something like fast paced, go ahead and add in like sugar. It can be brown if you're like brown skin, white if you're like pale or white. Also, this is not really a close practice. I think like other people can do it too. So don't get scared. Also, sorry about the noise in the background. I'm having a fish fry boy, whatever. So what I used was a glass bottle. It was green. I consider a clear jar, by the way. Get spring or distilled water. Put your sugar in there. I put like if not, and I put cinnamon. I put rosemary. I think I put honey. Mind you, I did this 2 weeks ago, but I warmed it up so everything can melt. Usually I use like a brown paper bag, but maybe like close practice. So if I were you, I would just use like regular white paper. Write your name 3 times, and I write my intentions of like what the money we're gonna bring, but if not that like quick money, and fold it towards you like 3 times. But yeah, fold it towards you so we can bring in that energy. I'll put it in that jar. And one thing I didn't do though, I didn't have a candle at that time, but I had something like really closed off, and I was just shaking that bitch. I was just shaking that bitch for 3 days. Mind you, it did not work for 3 days until I took, bro. I poured that motherfucker in the sink. I'm like, this shit ain't working, bro. I poured it down the motherfucking sink. Tell me why. I had a sugar daddy the next day, bro. It was giving me money back to back. I said, what the fuck? Then all my business coming in. I said, what the fuck? Money was coming in from left and right. I said, what the fuck? But that's just what worked for me because I don't think I did some shit right. But that's what worked for me is when I was shaking that motherfucker and then that shit wasn't working. So I just poured it down the motherfucking sink. And I was just like, oh my God, this shit. And then I started getting money. I said, So I don't know. That's what works for me. Like I said, it's about your attention and what works for you. Not everything's gonna work for everybody. But yeah, do that. And I mean, shit, if it don't work, that's just what happened with me. But I'm gonna continue on doing it. But yeah. You have fun and you let me know how it goes. But that's what happened with me though.